Hi, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Neoshia, and you're listening to the Rom-Com Detectives.
Welcome to Rom-Com Detectives, episode 60. Woohoo, 60. The Big Softie. Today, Neoshia and I will be talking about episode 3 of Castle Season 2, Inventing the Girl. This episode originally aired on October 5th, 2009, was written by Moira Kirkland and directed by Dwight Little. And before we get to the case briefing, just wanted to mention a quick Nathan Fillion update because he had been teasing, along with the Firefly cast, something to do with some kind of Firefly project that they were going to announce. And on Sunday, they announced that they're trying to do an animated series. So they're asking for support. They want, what did he call it? Quantifiable metrics, right? So he wants
Yeah.
people to like their post and share and talk about it and probably binge Firefly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quantifiable metric, right? Is if people are actually watching the show.
Yeah. I actually did start a rewatch earlier this week. I just haven't been able to keep going because I'm so busy. But yeah, I find after all these years, I finally started a rewatch.
Yeah. And so I guess we should mention to because some of our viewers may not be aware or familiar with Firefly, what it is. But it's a sci-fi show from, I believe it was 2002, right? Or 2003.
It's pretty old.
Yeah. So, wow, Crystal, just wow.
We the old, sorry.
But no, so it was 2002, circa 2003. I'm pretty sure it's 2002. It's a science fiction show. Nathan Fillion is the lead character on the show, or plays the lead character on the show. Malcolm Reynolds, and it's a sci-fi show, space adventure. In fact, we've already seen one of the we've seen the Brown Coat episode. I think. I hope. If not,
Did
it's in
we?
this season.
No, I don't think
No.
we did yet.
Well,
Right?
spoilers. There will be some references to Firefly and Castle, but Firefly
And
was
guest stars too.
and guest stars, yeah. But it was just a relatively short-lived show that has since picked up a lot of momentum in terms of people who are starting it and trying it for the first time, and lots of people love it. And I think it's very helpful that Nathan Fillion has gone on to become, to establish himself through shows like Castle and The Rookie in mainstream audiences, because now more and more people are finding Firefly. So that's my pitch for the show. That's what it is. Sci-fi, space adventure. So if you're into that kind of thing, or if you just really like Nathan Fillion, check it out. It's currently streaming on Hulu/Disney Plus.
So I looked it up, and apparently it's coming up soon. It's in season 2, episode 6, that he dresses up as Malcolm Reynolds. So we're
I
gonna
knew that
stay
it was.
tuned.
I knew that it was soon. But yeah, there's a brown coat moment.
And okay, so I gotta share this moment. So there's this gif of Nathan Fillion where he's holding up his hands, stopping you, like he's speechless, and it was just super. I saw this gif everywhere for years, and for so long I thought it was from Firefly, but it's from Castle.
Nice.
So I've been waiting for us to get to that scene because I know it's a scene with Alexis. I think it's when she's talking about going away to Oxford for school or something, and he's speechless and he's holding up his hands, trying to stop her, but he can't find the words or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually thought it might be from this episode because of the shirt he was wearing in this
Mm-hmm.
episode, but it never came up, so it's not this one. All right, case briefing. The victim in this one is Jenna McBoyd, and her cause of death was stabbing by statue. Very unique.
Yeah. Very
Stabbed,
unique. Very
stabbed by the
odd.
Washington Monument.
Yeah, just really odd.
The killer in this one was her husband, Travis Boyd. And I haven't rewatched Castle in a while, so it took me a while to remember that it was him. I couldn't remember who did it up until almost it was the last 10 minutes, I think.
So I had the exact opposite happen. As soon as it started and they
Oh,
started
you
talking
know it
about
was
Fashion
him.
Week, I knew it was him.
So the motive was jealousy slash adultery. He thought that she was gonna leave him. So, and then guest stars. This one I thought was very exciting because there are a lot of familiar faces. So it's for starters, there's Jeffrey Pierce. He played Wyatt Monroe. He's from Bosch. I think he played a bad guy in that one.
Hmm.
I can't remember which season, but he was like a recurring like bad guy, like suspect kind of thing. He was also on The Last of Us and The Tomorrow People. There's Matt Barr. He played Travis. He's from Walker, Sleepy Hollow, One Tree Hill. There's Tori DeVito. She played Sierra, and she's been on a lot of the Chicago shows, like Chicago. She's been on Chicago Med, 123 episodes, Chicago Fire, and Chicago PD, and she's also from Pretty Little Liars. And then there's Julian Sands. How did you recognize him?
I feel like he's one of those character actors that has simply been in a lot of different things.
Yeah, he's from 24, and I remember him as like the bug doctor guy from Arachnophobia. But the role that I remember him most from is Warlock. Did you ever see that movie?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like either an 80s or a 90s horror movie, and he was the Warlock, and he my mom used to watch that movie a lot, so I remember him. He was the evil guy. So I think maybe that's why I was a little confused about who did it. I thought it was Teddy Farrow in this episode. I
I
was
mean, it
like,
makes
he's
sense,
bad.
right? Yeah, they kind of set it up that way for a minute.
Yeah. And then, oh my god, the person with the super tiny role, the skinny dipper girl in the beginning is Candice Patton from The Flash.
Hmm.
As soon as the episode started, I was like, oh, we're gonna see Iris. It was such a small role, but oh my god, she became such a big part of of the Flash.
She
Um,
was. I'm just a little disappointed that her career hasn't really taken off since. Um,
Hey, she
like,
she gets a lot of hate from the fandom too. I think I've like been in the I've been in the subreddits before, and yeah, people don't like her for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of sad.
I mean, I know what the reason is, but this is not that kind of podcast. Um, so, I mean, I could just say it. And I mean, I think there was a lot of backlash from fans when The Flash came out, because they cast Iris as a black person, as opposed to white, which Iris in the comics is white. So there was a race swap,
uh,
with the character. And so there was a lot of animosity over that fact, to the point that, there was a lot of back and forth. And, um, it seems like maybe one of the other actresses was involved from the show was involved in like some shade
mm,
towards Candace. And I don't know if that was really intentional, if that's just like fans making stuff up or seeing things. But like, people are like, oh, he should be with this character now instead of her because, this other character's white. And so there's a lot of that backlash, which I found interesting because, The Flash, the movie, the one that starred Ezra Miller,
Ezra Miller.
no, that might not be them. The one who did all the crimes in Hawaii. That's kind of,
Yeah, that's
you
Ezra
know,
Miller.
yeah, Ezra
In
Miller.
my hometown, by the way, which is also going to come up in this episode later.
Yeah, I mean, like it was just wild. Like the things that he got accused of, not only doing in Hawaii, like choking random people and stuff like that, but then like a whole
Grooming
cult. It was,
teenagers.
yeah, yeah, weird stuff. But then that kind of ruined the momentum for the movie The Flash. But to make this short and sweet, the movie The Flash also decided to keep that type of casting and made their iris black as well.
Uh,
And so I don't recall quite as much animosity. I mean, people still talked about it; it was still a thing. But I think The Flash, having casted Candice Patton, and also Jesse L. Martin, from The Unnatural,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
X-Files episode, yeah, or Law and
And Law
Order,
and
or
Order.
Rent, all the million things he's been in. But yeah, and so having cast, Candice Patton, Jesse L. Martin, I think that kind of set a big precedent because The Flash actually was my favorite of the DC verse on the CW. It was a really great show, actually.
Yeah,
So
I don't think I finished it, but I think I at least got up to season 7. And honestly, like the relationship between Barry and Iris and her dad was like one of the best parts of the show to me.
mhm.
It was so grounding, and it was so nice in like the found family kind of way. I that was probably my favorite part of the Flash. So
Yeah, it was a great, again, a great show. And I thought she did a great job. And unfortunately, it was a time on the internet where, and not just the internet, but I think it was a time before there was a lot of public consciousness around, like, protecting those types of casting choices. Because the same thing happened with like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, for example. Casting Annabelle as a Black girl really caused a lot of a lot of feathers to get ruffled. But there was a little bit more protection. I mean, because one, she's a child, and two, I think public consciousness had shifted a bit in that time.
all right, episode breakdown. So it opens with a couple. They call them skinny dipping, but this was like network TV skinny dipping, where they're just in their
Yeah,
underwear.
running through the
So,
fountain in her underwear.
yeah, which is technically not skinny dipping, right?
No, and I was actually wondering, like, would that even get you a public indecency charge? Because
I don't
technically they're
know.
clothed.
Yeah, they're wearing clothes, so and they're running around in like the fashion district, so
Yeah,
it's
like
not
this
like
is the
they're.
new look this spring.
But yeah, so they go running through a what do you call those things? It's just a fountain, right? With the kind that spurt water out of the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what to call them. Like, because you see them often on like the East Coast, and even in the Midwest, we have a bunch of those in our parks, especially for kids, where
Yeah, for
um,
kids.
the water just shoots up out of the ground, so you can kind of run through them in the summertime.
Although I always tell my kids not to do that because I just always think that, oh my god, this water's recycled. It's probably full of germs. But yeah, so they discover the body, and then next it goes to Castle's apartment where Martha is practicing her lines while Castle's trying to eat breakfast, and she whaps him with the pages because he's supposed to be reading a part with her along with Alexis, who does a pretty good Southern accent. What is she, like a grandma or something in this little?
Yeah, I think she's playing the daughter of the granny role that Martha's trying to get.
Oh, so the crazy granny role that Martha gets is the one that Alexis is reading.
No, I think Martha's reading the crazy granny role, but I think Alexis is supposed to be her daughter or her
Oh,
granddaughter.
okay. I just thought it would have been funny if Alexis was doing the crazy granny roll on the side, and that's what she got.
No, yeah, no. Martha, I think, was always trying to. No, 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 no. You're right. You're right. Because I think
She's trying to
was
get a
it
different
Martha?
role, right? Yeah,
Yeah, she was trying to get like the lead, and then they're like,
yeah.
"Actually, we want you for the crazy granny."
So I think Alexis was actually reading the crazy granny role. I'm gonna have
I
to go
think you're
back and
right.
look
I
at
think you're right.
that. But yeah, so Castle gets a call about the body, and Alexis is like, "Take me with you. It'll be educational." But he ditches her, and
She's
it was so funny that like Martha was like, "Oh, she can miss school, right? Just to help me out." Priorities, man.
Yeah, Martha is so funny because she's like, I need help, and she can miss school, right? That's not that important. Like me getting this role more important.
It's so Martha, and yet it's endearing too.
Speaking of which, did you see the new photos or a new photo of Molly Quinn and Nathan Fillion from this weekend?
Oh no.
Yeah, there was a new photo. I saw it on social media because she's a blonde now. I know that. And so yeah, it was like I can't remember how she captioned the photo, but really cute photo with Molly Quinn and Nathan Fillion from just this past weekend.
Oh, awesome. I like seeing their photos together after.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it and send it to you.
Okay. So at the scene, they note that the girl is missing her shoes. Castle looks at her clothing and her makeup, and he says that she's a model and that it's fashion week. He makes some funny comment about how fashion people are descending on the city like locusts, except locusts actually eat. I like
Man,
that.
the models are never going to beat those allegations. I do know that they don't eat allegations.
He speculates that she was probably at a club, and Beckett tells him to calm down, but then Lainey hands her a wristband for a club, and it's got Teddy Farrell's logo on it, and he's famous enough where they both recognize him. Apparently, Castle even owns some of her stuff, or he's had to buy some of or some of his stuff.
Yeah, like I think his ex-wife, one of his ex-wives at least, right? Like took his credit card and bought a bunch of the stuff, and he like made a joke, a quip about like wishing he could have. He almost asked for some of it in the divorce settlement.
So next they go to Teddy's, and he identifies her as Jenna Boyd, and he says that she was supposed to walk in his show that day. She was supposed to be the face of his campaign. But he also mentions that she'd been really paranoid lately, and that she was acting really strange, and that at the party the previous night she was acting really off too. But he also denies that she does drugs because he says it's not her style. And Castle makes eye contact with a pretty girl who's a model at the show, and she looks like she recognizes him. And then when they ask Teddy about the shoes, he says that they were pink and they were his. And so this is an important clue for later, because he tells them what they look like. He says they're pink satin shoes, I think. But then he seemed kind of nice up until this point because he asked, "Hey, can I get that dress back that she was wearing?" And Beckett's like, "Well, it's got a hole in it where she was stabbed." And the face he makes is just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, okay, sorry."
Yeah. Like he's kind of like, oh yeah, duh, sorry I asked. But like I liked Beckett's response here because like his ask for the dress back kind of misses the mark. I think there's some interesting writing going on with this character. I wouldn't call it a subplot, but I do think there's something interesting that's happening here. As we meet him a couple times in the episode. Because you're right, he does seem like a pretty, you know, unassuming person, kind of nice until this point where he's like, "Hey, that dress is one of a kind. Do you think I can get it back?" Like, and he doesn't know how she died either, right? Like, if he'd
Yeah.
known that there was a hole in the back, that's a dead giveaway that he did it. But he asked for the dress back, and her response indicates that he missed the mark, and he kind of recognizes that and moves on quickly.
So the girl that was looking at Castle stops him on his way out, and then she shows him a copy of his Cosmo issue, and he's on the cover. Castle doesn't remember her. He like makes up some kind of, "Oh yeah, that party that we went to," and she's like, "You don't remember me." And then she gives him her number, and she specifically calls him Rick here, so you get the impression that they know each other, or either they've slept together or something of the sort, because that's who Castle was like before, like when we're first introduced to him. He's a playboy guy, kind of. So but I liked how they progressed this story, like from start
Mm-hmm.
to finish. It was very nice. I liked it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, this is another, I think, not really a subplot, but an interesting, I think, writing choice for some of
It's
the
good
side
character
characters.
development for
Yeah.
Castle. Yeah, it was very wholesome in the end. I like the way that they went through it. So they go and they talk to Sierra, and she says that she's devastated and that Jenna was going to be Teddy's face. And then she asks about the husband because she says that, oh, they were so in love and that he's going to be crushed. So next they bring the husband Travis in, and he explains that she had a stalker and that he had filed all these reports about like things that the guy was doing. He was sending her creepy notes and like photos and things like that. But be, I guess they were both from a small town in Ohio, right? So they were like the kids off the turnip truck kind of people. That's how they were treated.
Yeah, because my impression is they moved from Ohio, like that's where they were from, and they met and they married, and they moved to New York so that Jenna could pursue her modeling career.
Yeah. But so they look into it, and it's kind of sad because I mean it is creepy what the guy was doing, but like Beckett notes that he wasn't making any actual outright threats. So it's like kind of like skating on the line where police could do something, but like given like the crime and things in New York, I guess they basically just told him, we have a lot of other things to investigate, and we don't have time to look into this because he hasn't done anything. And so I thought this was a pretty good red herring for the case,
Mhm.
because I mean the things that this guy was doing, and it turns out to be part of the girl Sierra's thing, right? So
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's definitely unsettling. And I mean, like, it's on one hand, it sounds awful, and I get why Beckett is so like, the cops can't let her down again.
yeah,
But on the other hand, it's unsettling, but like he's not done anything,
yeah,
and I think
and
that's
he
the
and he
tricky
was
part.
fake stalking, right? Like he wasn't actually obsessed with her, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was just doing it to help, like, freak her out so that Sierra could get the campaign, right? Not that that excuses it, but it's just that that's how it actually turned out to be. So Castle brings dinner home, and Alexis tells him that Martha's in her room because she's upset because she got the part of the crazy granny who dies off stage in Act One. And then he looks at the phone. He's expecting a call from the girl at the modeling place, and then while he's doing that, she's like, "What's her name?" She's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, it's Rena." And then she figures out that it's a girl who used to babysit her.
yeah. And so, like, what I find wild about this developing storyline is he did not remember her at all. Like, he's like talking in generalities, like, that party, ha. And I think it's because her model makeup, right? Like, she's wearing like
Yeah.
those big
And those
eyelashes, and
lashes.
right, and like, so
All
she's
of them
super
are
made
wearing
up.
crazy lashes.
Well, and there's a thing about eye makeup, and I was thinking about it because, like, you had made a comment, like, completely offline about this, where I was just like, or where you were talking about the eyelashes, and there is something about heavy eye makeup and how it,
Dramatically changes your
it
look.
it changes your look, and especially with the lighting, like, people can't see, but I'm like, the lighting, it changes your look, and it, like, you can either emphasize or de-emphasize the eyes with it. And so it's just really interesting because I also then noticed, and it was much later in the episode when I noticed this, but if you look at Beckett, she wears really heavy dark eye makeup.
Uh,
Like, her eyes are lined heavily with like a dark brown or a black.
uh,
Um, and so I wonder if that's again because of like lighting, and what you're trying to draw attention to, or also she has brown eyes. So I think, right? Or are they gray? They might be gray.
Yeah,
I'm
I,
bad
I
with eye
wonder if
color.
they have. I wonder if they have to change her makeup between scenes because the interrogation room is like this bright white room, but the bullpen is very brown and very like
Mm-hmm.
dark. So I mean, they must have to have different looks for her for the different scenes, right, to make her look consistent and yet.
Yeah, to like play with the lighting effect because I once
Yeah.
had smoky eye that was way too dark. I told her, "Oh, be bold," because she was like, if we go darker, it'll do this." And so it's my best friend's wedding, and I went with a smoky eye, and it was super dark. And some of the pictures I look fantastic, and some of the other pictures I'm like, "Holy crap, I look like a clown." But rest in heavily peace to the angel. Her name was Angel, who did my makeup for that wedding, because she was great. She loved doing that stuff. And anyway, but that's actually how I know about the dark eye makeup and
Yeah.
why they do it.
And actually, Lauren German, the actress who plays Chloe from Lucifer, she just put some new pictures of herself online, like on her IMDb page and her Instagram. And I guess when she was on Lucifer, she was wearing heavy, heavy eye makeup. Because, like we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about, because these photos of her, I don't even recognize her, and it's her eyes. Her eyes just look so different. She looks like a completely different person. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's probably, and that's what one of the more interesting things about makeup, right, and hair, for that matter, is like one little change.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. I was like, oh my god, this must be what she actually looks like. you know?
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
interesting
looking?
too. Yeah, I'm like trying to find them.
She's still very beautiful, but she looks so different. She looks like I think if someone had shown me that picture, I would have been like, I don't know who that is.
Well, I'm actually looking because I like typed in her name, and like some of her younger pictures, like you can tell that's Lauren German, but my God, I would never be like, that's the same person who was in Lucifer. Like, is it her new profile? Is this a new profile picture?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Her new profile picture.
Yeah, and I mean, I see there too, like it's the eyes, but also the hair, because she has dark roots with like
Yeah.
brown hair. And so I think that's another thing, because we're kind of come up in Castle, especially, we're coming up to like sort of the more drastic Beckett hair change. And I think Stana Katic also kind of looks different based on like whatever hair and like makeup palette she has going on at the time.
Yeah.
Acting, I guess.
Okay, so the next day, Castle and Kate head down to the morgue where Lainey is giving them the details of her death, saying she put up a fight and she got hit in the face really hard, and she got stabbed in the back by something long and sharp, but that's not a typical blade. And she draws them a picture, um, and I was just like, "Wait, so I mean, it must have been a big wound, right? Because
Hmm.
I mean." And I got really confused at the end because how did she end up taking the statue with her?
That part doesn't make a ton of sense. Other only thing I could think of is like she was so freaked out and she'd
She
obviously
just
cut
had it
this
in her
guy.
hand and she just
Yeah.
fled and she
Just
took
because
it
she
with
didn't even
her.
take her shoes, right? Like she didn't put her
Oh
shoes on.
yeah,
She
yeah,
just got
yeah.
out of there.
Okay, and I mean, it did look like the Washington Monument. Castle makes this comment, and her that's what her
Yeah,
drawing looked like.
right.
But she says that she also found traces of an ADD drug in her system, and that some models use it for weight loss. So this goes against what the guy Teddy was saying. And actually, did somebody else say that she wasn't into drugs? I think that's later. But so Castle goes to Beckett's desk and he finds his Cosmo article open. He does some playful ribbing. The guys approach and they tease him for details about Rena. Do you think that this is because Beckett told them about her?
Yeah, I got the impression because when Beckett comes back to her desk, like I think it's implied that she had been gossiping because I noted that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we joke about how women are big gossips or whatever, but these men are no better because that's what they're doing, right? But then when she
Yeah.
comes back, it's kind of made clear that she told them about Rena.
It's so funny too because he's just so uncomfortable at this point. He's like being
Yeah.
the morally high ground kind of guy. He's like, that's somebody's daughter or
Or
babysitter.
babysitter. You know what I and this is what I was going to say before I got onto the hair and makeup tangent a moment ago. What I found interesting about Rena is she looks like a baby.
Yeah, she looks very
She
young.
doesn't look very old at all. And I think one of the more shocking things about this, especially given Castle's later reaction upon learning who she is, to me, like why his mind went to we met at a party, and that kind of thing. And maybe it's because she calls him Rick and not Mr. Castle.
I think
But
too it's just flattery. He's just flattered at the moment too. So
maybe, but she looks so young, and I
yeah.
never picture Castle. Like I know he would date models, like he could be a wild, guy, but like I would never presume Castle is the kind of guy that dates barely legal young women. And so it was crazy to me that his mind kind of went there, given how like she looks like she's maybe 19 at max.
Yeah.
But anyway, happens, right?
I do like how quickly he pivots though once he finds out
Yeah.
who she is. He's just like become like her defender instead of like chasing her tail kind of thing. So
Yeah, like he changes tune, like he, we'll see he calls her, but like he changes tune quickly. Like he's not trying to date her in any way. Which again, like I think that points to something about Castle's character, right? Like he's not he might be a playboy, but he's also not like one of those guys.
he's not a predator playboy.
Right, right.
So they have they get a fingerprint back on a memory card or something for a guy named Will James. So they head to his apartment and inside Kate finds Jenna's comp card, and this becomes important for a little side plot later on. And she's like, "Oh, that's something models use to get work." And so while they're looking around, Espo whispers to Ryan, "Do you know what a comp card was?" I like this tiny little mini storyline here because this is where they start getting suspicious, right? About and they don't show them doing what happens at the end, like investigating
Mm-hmm.
their little side investigation, but they plant the seed here and then they like throw in little hints throughout and then it
Mm-hmm.
comes back to you later. So
Yeah, I find it interesting that how the storyline kind of weaves in here. But I don't know, like, is it that unusual for a cop working in Manhattan to like have a little bit of knowledge about modeling.
I don't know, but I just found it amusing. I liked it. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a funny storyline. I don't think take any like, oh, this is offensive. It is pretty funny.
so they take the guy in and they're interrogating him, but then they get interrupted because they say that his alibi checked out. He has like a rock solid alibi. So he's like been seen on on camera and stuff. So he's her stalker, but he's not her killer. And so next they go to talk to Travis, and he's really upset about how like their case isn't progressing. And she asks about the drugs, and he insists that she didn't use drugs. And then he says that she got along with everyone but one of the photographers. And he mentions like this incident where he did a test shoot with her and she came home crying. So next they go talk to this photographer, and he's just kind of he's like in the middle of working, but he's still kind of like dismissive of them.
Hmm.
And then Teddy takes the stage and he gives like a short thing about, oh, it's so sad about Jenna, but then he introduces Sierra as the face of his campaign. And so that's when Castle is just like, hey, that's a pretty good motive. So they go through like different scenarios. And I like that they cringe at like parts of their scenario that's kind of like far fetched.
Hmm.
It was I liked this part where they were just kind of like, she's not just outright dismissing him. She's like she's hearing him out, and then they're like workshopping it together. So I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
So they see Rena again, and he drags Beckett over to her because now he feels like he can talk to her because he knows that, this is just a girl who used to work for me kind of thing. So I think it's because he understands what their relationship is now. So he's comfortable with it, even though he maybe Beckett isn't aware yet. So but she calls him Rick again. He's like, that's Mr. Castle to you. I like that he sets this boundary for her.
And there's also like that moment where he's like, she used to babysit me. I mean, for Alexis.
But yeah, so and it turns out she's a good source of information because Rena tells them that Jenna and Sierra weren't really BFFs, they were frenemies, and that one time she saw Sierra crushing up a diet pill and putting it in another model's drink. So this leads Beckett to think that Sierra was the one who was drugging Jenna. So that would explain why everyone insists that she doesn't do drugs, and yet they found drugs in her system, and also why she's been like described as paranoid and stuff. So
I was actually kind of confused by this like drugging thing because on one hand, it's drugging someone to put meds in their drink without their knowledge, no questions asked about that. But the idea that she's on drugs because she's taking an ADHD medication that models sometimes use for weight loss, there's like a huge inference there. There's like a leap there about like what the drugs are because like there are actual drugs that are marketed for weight loss that have the same properties as Adderall, and that's how they work to suppress or to make make you lose weight. And so like anyway, I think it was just odd. They immediately went to she's taking drugs because my assumption is, and I'm not a model, not involved in this world or anything, but I do know that most of the time when you ask about someone taking drugs, um, people are thinking like cocaine, meth, heroin. Rarely are they thinking about like, oh, they took Adderall or they smoke
yeah, because
marijuana.
I mean, I feel like they should have been using the word medication, right?
Yeah, yes. That I think that kind of it's one of those things where like I think when you know more about something, and you're just like, this is weird to hear it this way,
Yeah.
it kind of makes you be like, oh, okay, that's a little shocking. But I mean, most people probably don't even register that kind of thing. But yeah, again, putting meds in someone's drink is drugging them. But like the idea that
Yeah.
she was taking drugs because she had this medicine in her system, read is a little odd to me.
So while they're at this fashion show, Beckett spots Esposito and Ryan, and they've brought the photos from Will James's memory card. And they go through this whole thing about why'd you bring it up in person? And they're just like, well, we just wanted to, we thought you'd appreciate it. Um, but so they ask about Rena again, and Beckett tells them, oh, she used to babysit Alexis. But when she looks at the photos, she sees that Sierra is Will's girlfriend. So that leads them to discover that, he was stalking, with quotes,
Mm-hmm.
stalking her as part of Sierra's plan to get the job of being Teddy's face. So, man, this
I
girl
mean,
was,
she's diabolical, first off.
I know,
Second, like, I
drugging
don't know.
her.
So this whole storyline reads to me too as if they took a couple of like things that actually happened and like put them into one story, because this part reads like Tanya Harding, right? Like this is the Tanya Harding part of it where it's like she's actively she's
Sabotaging.
yeah, using her boyfriend to actively sabotage her rival. And then the part of this story with Sierra also, because at the time that this episode would have come out, America's Next Top Model
Mm,
was huge. And even at the time, like there was just a documentary out, which is why I was even thinking about it. But like even at the time, you could tell there was some shady business going on, like in terms of like Tyra and like everything that like she was saying to people and like kind of how they filmed certain things. And so it kind of almost seemed like they pulled in some real life inspiration. And I'm not knocking it. I think it's cool, but like I kind of started to notice that like, oh yeah, so we have a Tanya Harding type situation here.
So at the station, Teddy is really furious because apparently they pulled Sierra out of his launch party to bring her down for questioning. And then they inform him that, oh, well, she was dosing Jenna to make her seem paranoid around him. And he's still just upset. Like his campaign is ruined, it's tainted.
Yeah.
And then Beckett tells him it's just clothes. And he goes into this whole spiel about how clothes are what separates us from animals.
Oh yeah, and so this is another moment where I really just loved Beckett's reaction, because she responds to him and she's like, "Yeah, I guess it does." And that simple statement and how she delivers it, I think, is very effective because there's an implication here that maybe he is actually the animal. Because like,
Mm,
who is running around like this during a murder investigation, just seemingly devoid of any empathy for the victim? And I think he's just very vapid. He comes off as
yeah.
extremely vapid for most of the
Shallow.
episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I really liked her reaction. And it goes back to sort of Beckett as, this champion for victims because, and I think what's also interesting too, like at no point is Teddy Farrow actually a suspect, but every interaction she has with him kind of ends this way, right? Where it's like she's having to remind him that like someone is dead. Like, I'm sorry that you were like currently going through
Inconvenienced.
this, right? But someone lost their life.
And someone who was like working for him too, someone that he supposedly cared about. So
Like
the fact that
she
he's
was
just,
important to his campaign,
yeah.
right? She was important to him, but like all he can
Now she's
see is
dead.
that, yeah, yeah, and all he can see is like we're in Fashion Week, and I need to pivot quickly and keep this going, and um, yeah, it's not very empathetic to the victim.
Yeah. So in interrogation, they pressure Sierra into talking, and she tells him that she went to the victim Jenna went to Wyatt Monroe's place. That's the photographer from earlier because he had
Hmm.
sabotaged her test shoot, her photo shoot, and this was because the girl Jenna wouldn't sleep with him. And she says it's an
Hmm.
open secret that if you sleep with him, you get great photos. And I guess Jenna had told her that she had a plan, but didn't specify what it was. And Sierra tells them that like sleeping with him wasn't the worst thing in the world. And the look on Castle's face, he's just so affected by this, and you can tell that he's thinking about Rena, right? And this comes back
Yeah.
later, but he's just thinking, oh my god, is this the world that she's in? And she's like this really sweet girl who I actually care about now. So yeah, I like that there's this conflict on his face, that he's come to this realization, and it doesn't sit well with him. So
Yeah, and I mean this is also too, I think, well, we're talking about models, but sort of this commentary on the Hollywood casting couch,
yeah.
like that concept of that, it's icky, right? But the idea that you might have to sleep with someone to get a role. And, this is obviously way prior to the Me Too movement and everything that kind of fell out of that. But like, the idea that you have to sleep with someone. And I think hearing Sierra just say these things out loud,
Yeah.
like, just sleep with them, you'll get good photos, and it's actually not that bad,
And
would
she
be
tells
jarring to
them
hear.
that she did it. She's like, it wasn't that I did it. Right? She admits that she
Yeah.
did it. So
Yeah, like it's just a natural thing and it's just a way of doing business. And, maybe in their business it could be, which I would hope not, but like if you're just a regular person, that seems abhorrent, right? Like the idea that
yeah.
you're already paying for these photos, and now you have to also sleep with this person. Like he's pressuring you into sex for good photos.
Yeah, I mean he's still gonna deliver photos, they're just not gonna be good ones, right?
Right,
So
which will then tank their career.
she still have to pay for them. They're just not gonna be worth anything to you.
Right. And they could tank your career if you don't have good photos, right? Like that's your
Yeah.
whole career. This is one of those times when your face card, your body actually means a lot.
Yeah. So Esposito and Ryan come and tell Beckett that the guy Monroe actually lives next to the crime scene. He lives above the fountain. And so they talk about how they went to go check on his alibi and that they talked to people at Teddy's party and a different party, and they all gave like different times to what he actually told them. So he lied to them. So they go to talk to him in his apartment, and while Becca's talking to him, Castle's poking around his living room, and he finds the pink shoes that belong to Teddy. And he's just like, well, I don't know where those got there.
Yeah, and so Crystal, pop quiz, what brand are the shoes?
That's in my quiz. You can't ask me that.
Well, I can tell you that I know, so you don't tell me because I already know.
But Beckett notices an award that looks like the Washington Monument, and this part was so funny to me because he's like, "Yeah, that's my Hilo Award," and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's the name of my hometown! It's even spelled exactly the same, Hilo." It's so yeah, it's spelled the same and pronounced the same. I was like, "Oh my god."
Well, I mean, it's kind of wild that it's named for this Hawaiian town, but it looks like the Washington Monument.
Well, I
Um,
don't know if it's actually named for my hometown. It's just that that just so happens
oh,
to be the word that it is.
well, is Hilo, is that a Native Hawaiian word or a word from a Native
um,
Hawaiian dialect?
I mean, I'm
I,
assuming so, but I actually don't know what the word means. So then, oh, I
yeah,
feel
it's kind of a weird question. I'm sorry. Like, hey, Crystal, like, do you know all Native Hawaiian dialects, and is that word a part of one? But no, I was curious because a lot of times a lot of places, especially in the U.S., we don't really recognize it until someone tells us. But a lot of our place names are indigenous names. We just don't know it.
I looked it up. It means to twist in Hawaiian. I
Oh,
don't
so
know.
yeah, so it's a Hawaiian award. So the name is Hawaiian and Native Hawaiian. And sorry if that's probably not the name of the language, so I apologize. But it looks like the Washington Monument. So somebody was riffing here,
Well,
throwing some things together.
just in case people are curious, the name of the Hawaiian language is Olelo Hawaii. So
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so in interrogation, Monroe tells them that Jenna saw him at Teddy's party, and so she like approached him and she like made it clear that she was ready to deliver on what he expects. So they go back to his place, and she's being very obvious that she wants him to say out loud what their deal is. So he's like mocking her for like not being very subtle about what she was trying to do. So he finds her phone. He and it's like recording them. And that's when they fight. And I guess she like knocks over the award and hits the tip off. Like I don't know. like when they say tip, like how much of, because I guess she got stabbed with it eventually. So
Hmm.
I guess
It
maybe
seems
it's a
like it's
significant amount. It was made out of glass, so I guess so maybe
yeah,
a good part of it could have broken off.
yeah, and also too, I would imagine the glass. You just need one small but super sharp part, right, to like penetrate someone's skin.
Hmm.
And I'm not really, I didn't, I know we're getting there, but in sort of the play out for how she gets killed, I didn't really get a good sense of how that happened. Like, because it's in their
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
yeah. Like, did she
Anyway.
he stab her? like as she's running away, or and
Did
like
she
how do you
fall on it? Like, what happened?
yeah, like falling on it, I think that would have made more sense to me. Like he pushed her and she fell on it and he didn't realize it was in her purse and it fell out a little bit or something like that. I feel like that would have made more sense. But it kind of made they
Yeah.
kind of made it sound like he actively stabbed her with this tip of the statue, which
Right.
didn't
Like he
make a
took it
lot of
from her hand
sense.
and just stuck it in her back or something, you know?
Yeah, like here, I can't believe you're
Yeah.
leaving me. Stab.
This episode overall, I will say, really good storytelling, like really good story up until they actually have to do the murder reveal. Because that's where
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, he like tells them all about like their fight, and he shows them like a bandage cut on his arm, but that she left alive. And so he's like, just go listen to the recording, and it'll prove my innocence. But she's like, well, we never found her phone, so we don't have this recording. And so yeah, I guess at this point the guy's kind of screwed, right?
Yeah, because he's like, no, this happened. I swear she recorded it all. And they're like,
Well, we don't
I
have
don't know about that.
that. But, they go out to the bullpen and Beckett's like, like it's kind of weird that he didn't do a better job covering his tracks. So maybe we should look more into it. So they go home for the day. Martha tells Castle that she told her agent that she's going to pass on the play, but that she feels old. And Castle's looking at her headshot and oh my God, she was stunning in that headshot. It must have been like an
Mhm.
actual one of her old headshots, right? Because it looked like her.
I think so.
Yeah,
Because
she looker.
shows sometimes do that
Yeah.
where they like will ask the actor like
Hey, can
to
we get
bring in
one of
an
these?
older photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a nice headshot, though.
Hmm. And this is the part where I think we actually do learn that she was meant to be the crazy old granny who dies off stage
Yeah,
in Act
yeah.
One. Yeah.
So Rena calls, confirming their date, and Martha is just like judging him. She's like, "Oh, why?" He tells her that unemployed divas who live in glass houses rent free should not throw stones.
But you know what, though? Credit where credit is due. I think Martha actually has the right kind of energy about this,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she's hearing what she perceives, right? Because even the viewer doesn't quite understand what's going on yet, but like it's what she perceives to be her son making a date with a much younger woman, like
Yeah, and
a
and
woman
and I
who's
feel like he's hiding this, like he's making her think this just to troll her, right?
hmm
Like he's
right,
doing it on purpose.
right. But I mean, she had the right kind of energy about the situation. I will say that.
Yeah, yeah. So Castle goes into the station, and Beckett tells him that she was talking to Travis, and Jenna's phone wasn't able to have a recording app. So she went looking, and she found out that Jenna had bought a new phone that day, and it also had GPS, which is how they're able to find it. So they bring the uniform officers bring in the phone, and they listen to the recording, and they can hear the fight, which is happening exactly how the photographer, says it did, and they hear the door slam and she's still outside and she meets another person, and this is presumably the person who actually kills her, because they hear her being slapped really hard on the face, and that's something that Lainey had said earlier, that she got hit really hard in the face. But so then they cut to Castle asking Beckett, well, what's the plan, because apparently they didn't show it, but the recording got cut off because she ran out of memory, which is such a old school tech kind of thing, right? Back when phones couldn't even handle like a short recording like that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, think of like the original like iPod Nanos or whatnot that you could get for like just a few gigabytes, which hold virtually nothing now compared to like
Yeah,
I think my phone has 520 on it or something.
it kind of looked like one of those Nokia phones, like a
Mm-hmm.
very small cell phone. But yeah, so next they're like talking about how they're gonna get a confession, and like at this point they're hiding from the viewer who they're talking about, because you're not sure, is
Mm-hmm.
it Teddy, is it Monroe, is it, is it one of these suspects, but it's when they go into the room and it's actually Travis, the husband. And so this is the guy that Beckett has to draw a confession out of, even though they don't have evidence on the recording that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like something that becomes persistently what is Beckett's specialty. Is That's why we call her Quiz Beckett's interrogation, right? So she's
Mm-hmm.
very good in interrogation. She's very good at getting confessions. But she specifically tells Castle, "You're not to speak," so you know he's
Yeah.
going to say something. But she's trying, and the guy's resisting. He's not confessing. So Castle finally comes in and says, "What does he say?" Oh, he tells her, "You slapped her so hard that you cut her cheek," and this kind of sets him off. So I think he made a judgment call here, and that he knew that saying this would make him emotionally like unstable and maybe trip him up enough to say something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of tag team. Like he doesn't knock it out of the park. The guy still doesn't confess. Like Beckett still has to work on him, but he gets it
Mm-hmm.
started basically. So it's like a team effort kind of thing between the two of them here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is the part where Travis starts to sort of blame shift. Like, he's shifting the blame to Teddy Farrow because he's like, Teddy killed her. I didn't do it. It was Teddy. Because I think that so much of this, like, he really does believe is because of Teddy Farrow. Like, if they had never moved to New York, if she'd never become a model, then none of this would have happened. And so, like, he's trying to shift the blame, and they keep bringing him back to, no, it was you. We know it was you. So let's talk about that.
So the way that Beckett eventually gets this guy to do it is she's threatening to play. She's bluffing, like she has a recording of him killing his wife, and so she's like hovering her finger over the over the play button, like I'm gonna make you listen to this again. And so that's when he finally confesses, right? So
Yeah. And I mean, um, he does confess. And what I think is interesting here, right, is she does play the same back for him with Wyatt so that it's clear to him that his wife had not slept with anyone, had not done anything. I guess it just, I don't know, like, this doesn't, it's not that it falls flat for me, right? Like, I like this interrogation, and I think you're right in terms of, like, this kind of becomes, Beckett's thing is interrogation and her ability to get these answers from people. And we see Castle, he does chime in, and it kind of like breaks this, almost that final straw,
yeah,
almost. And so I wish I knew how they got there, though. Like, that was
yeah,
one of my critiques. Like, I really want to know, like, how did they get here? What was it that was like, oh, the person who slapped her, that was Travis?
yeah, I don't know, because yeah, I mean, you work backwards, and why would they
Yeah.
suspect him, right?
Yeah. And I mean,
He's been
we also
fooling
see
us
them.
all along, right?
Right. I mean, because he's so like, find out who did it. I'm upset. Like, he seems like the grieving husband, right? Like, there's nothing about him that reads, I just killed my wife. But then also, too, like, after they leave, like, right after they leave the interrogation room, what I find interesting, too, and this is like something I don't really love, is Beckett's reaction to Travis, because she seems empathetic to him. And on one hand, I can see how one would be empathetic to him because, he's someone who lashed out and killed his wife because this is what we call a quote unquote crime of passion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He thinks he's caught her cheating, and like, he's just so enraged and impassioned, he has to kill her right then. And Beckett almost seems empathetic to that.
I
Um,
mean, I kind of get it. Like, not maybe not like, oh, I feel so sorry for you, but just like, oh, this is so tragic because he thought that she was cheating, and yet you hear her on the recording saying, "I love my husband. I can't do this, and I want to go home." And it's just sad. I think all around. I think
I
she's
mean,
probably just sad for the girls. It's sad for the two of them. So
and it could be that. And then also, too, like, while we were talking about this, like, I'm wondering if this is sort of like me reading back onto 2009, maybe something that wasn't there at the time, which is like, it was her comment that he loved his wife very much that got me, because, like, he loved her so much he killed her. And everything that we see Travis doing, again, is kind of layered. He's like following her around. This, because this wasn't the only time he followed her and found her somewhere, but like, he's following her around, making demands of her. Like, he seems kind of abusive.
yeah,
And today we would clock that as like abusive behavior and someone who has lost control of the situation. And so again, this might be me like reading back on the 2009, maybe something that wasn't intended or maybe wasn't as just sort of in the wealth of public knowledge, about like
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
abuse can look like. But that's, it kind of seemed a little strange to me is all. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's not that she's empathetic, but she's, kind of sad and like she sees what he perceives to be his love of his wife.
So out in the bullpen, Castle's asking, "Oh, what's gonna happen to Wyatt and Sierra? Because it doesn't seem fair. I mean, they did mess up this girl's life, and like the things that they did to her really helped lead her to this point, right? I mean, because I think
Mm-hmm.
even they made her paranoid, and I think even the things that Sierra was telling her, like telling her it's not that bad, just go sleep with him, like she helped to lead her into this position that made the husband like question things. I mean, I'm not absolving him of blame. He did kill her, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, she did not help, basically, Sierra.
But it's also just really awful what they did, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like the
they were
um
relentlessly going at her from all directions, right, trying to get her
right,
this job. It's
right.
terrible.
And so like when Teddy just mentions like, hey, or I guess offline, right? Because we don't see him say it, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when Beckett finds out that Teddy's going to blacklist them, you know, she's kind of ambivalent about it. Ambivalent, that's not a word. She's
Ambivalent.
ambivalent. Ambivalent. She's ambivalent about it. And I'm kind of with her on that because usually when you're talking blacklisting someone, you're talking about using power that you have and kind of abusing that power to get someone out of the field. And yet here, in this story, because of the storytelling, it almost humanizes Teddy Farrow, who's been very vapid all
Yeah,
episode long, only caring about this launch. And you see that he is going to use his power to make sure that this sexual predator and this, like, I call her a viper, and this viper don't work again. And so, is that really justice? I mean, the law's not going to be able to do anything to them because there's no victim to come out against Wyatt. And Sierra is, I guess, not done anything illegal unless someone complains about her drugging them. I don't know. And so, yeah, I
well,
just,
there's no proof that she did it either, right? So
true, true. And I mean, like by this point, nobody would, you know,
but I mean, I feel like whatever Teddy's doing to like get this poetic justice, like whatever. If like he gets poetic justice for Jenna, then fine. But at the same time, he's probably doing it for his own gain somehow. Like he's doing it to save face, so that people don't think that that he's this vapid, like heartless
well,
guy. So yeah. So
not only
I
that, but if you really think about it, they are the two people who ruined his launch
yeah,
because
yeah,
they were the
that's true.
ones who, treated Jenna poorly, put her in this position, got her killed. Again, it was the husband who did it, so he bears that blame. But still, like, they're kind of the ones who set the stage for this.
Yep,
So, I
yep.
mean,
They're
yeah, he's kind of
culpable.
getting his lick back for himself and for Jenna.
Yeah, that's true.
But the human part to me, though, also, because it's rare to see, and maybe, I don't know, it's almost like an SVU moment of a sort. Because I don't know that it's always, especially on TV, especially in this era, hearing about someone who is essentially coercing people into having sex with them in order to uh, get the service they paid for, like the photos, right, with Wyatt, usually doesn't get treated as something that's like blacklist worthy or, something that's wrong. But here, you're kind of seeing Teddy Farrow say, he's not going to work again.
Yeah.
He's not going to work again. And so, I mean, that in and of itself, I think carries a little bit of power and is a powerful moment. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, this is the time we see Teddy kind of being a human. And at some level, it could just be Teddy getting his own lick back against people that ruined
Yeah.
his lunch.
Yeah. So with this kind of like dreary case ending, Beckett's like, well, what would Nikki Heat do after a bad day? I like where this goes. This scene is so cute because Castle's just like drawn in. He's like, wow, she'd go home, pour a stiff drink, run a hot bath, and read a good book. And she says, too bad I don't have a good book to read. So that he finally realizes why she's been kind of grouchy lately. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because the reporter at Cosmopolitan got to read the book, but she did not. And
Mhm.
it's like he forgot that she's a fan of his. Of course she wants to read the book early. And she's like, I'm the inspiration. I should get to read it before the reporter.
Yeah.
I love whenever her fangirl comes back out.
Yeah, her fangirl side, but also too, like, I'm with her. Like, why am I not reading an advance copy of your book, sir?
Yeah. Because and come on, he like says that it's because his publisher doesn't want any leaks, as if Beckett would leak his book. Come on.
Right. Right.
She's you can tell she's like insulted by this, right? Because I mean he's not saying it, but he's kind of saying it, right? I don't think he even
Yeah.
realizes it.
And I don't think he even meant it that way, but like I think his publisher's just keeping a tight leash on who gets a
Yeah,
copy.
yeah, yeah.
Um and I don't know that he thought that she would be so like put out by not getting a copy.
It's so cute though, this interaction, and I like that he just settles in and says, "You'll have it by tomorrow."
Yeah. Like he's gonna take care of it right away. Almost
It's
like a boyfriend slash husband moment if you think about it too, where it's like he
yeah,
realizes he
yeah.
messed up and it's like
He messed up.
it'll be
Yeah,
fixed tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. I love it. But it's not over. Oh my god, there's one more surprise left in the episode. Because Castle leaves, Beckett logs onto her computer, and her desktop background has a photo of her younger self, and Ryan and Espel are smirking at her from their desks, and they tell her, "Looking good, Detective Beckett."
Mm-hmm.
And she tells him it was just one summer, it wasn't a big deal. And she's just like, I thought it was going to be better, making a better way to make money than waitressing.
I mean, it probably pays better for sure.
Yeah, yeah. She tells him, if you tell Castle, I'll kill you. Which is funny because I think just in the last episode, they were saying something about don't let Becca find out, she'll shoot us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a persistent theme. Beckett's gonna kill us.
Yes. It's how she runs her squad. Fear.
And yet there's another ending. I like that this one has multiple endings and they're all kind of amusing. So
Mm-hmm.
Casa goes home and Martha's really happy because she got a better offer on her role. She still dies in the first act. She's still the crazy granny, but she dies on stage and she's closing out the act. So she's much more prominent and important in the play. So she feels really good. And then the doorbell rings and it's Rena. And she's still kind of judging him. She's like, oh, yeah, your date. But then it's revealed that, the girl Rena's just here to spend time with Alexis. They're going to have a High School Musical marathon, which is so cute because they like hug very excitedly.
Mm-hmm.
And then as she's running up to Alexis's room, she says, "Hi, Mr. Castle." And it's just so adorable because he's like helped transition her into like still being able to be a young girl kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
just by setting like this boundary and inviting her over to spend time with Alexis, just and he tells Martha that if Jenna had had a friend looking out for her instead of, like you said, all these vipers out to get her, then maybe she wouldn't have died, right? So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, another powerful, I think, moment in terms of the relationship dynamic within that family, like the family
yeah,
unit. But then also like the realization that Castle has because Jenna was truly alone. Like even
yeah,
having a husband, right? Like she was never protected, never had anyone watching out for her. Like even Teddy, who does seem to actually have liked her, was just like, I thought I was gonna have to let her go because she started acting a little paranoid. And so
yeah.
she didn't have, that person, at
No
least on the
true
outside.
allies, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I like this idea that Castle's like, I'm gonna be this person for her. I'm gonna make sure that
Mm-hmm.
she's got people she can come to if she needs us. So and he's not
Yeah.
just talking about himself. He's talking about like Alexis too, right? So
Yeah. And especially Alexis, right? Because like there's gonna be things that I think, someone like Rena, because she's not that old. I
yeah,
mean, she's
yeah,
got to be
maybe
19, 20.
yeah. she's not that much older than Alexis.
No. So, I mean, like, at least having someone that she would talk to and hang out with and just do like girl things with, like High School Musical marathon,
Yeah, yeah. I have actually never seen High School Musical, so
That's fair actually, because you're a little
I'm
Not
older, so
exactly.
yeah.
You're a little old for that era of Disney movie. So
Yeah, and I think my daughter was too young for that, so I kind of missed being the mom having to watch it with my kids kind of thing. I just yeah, it's just a weird
yeah.
like timeline kind of thing.
I mean, I say that, and my mom has seen all three of them.
Oh,
So,
really?
oh yeah, we were the family that had like the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen VHS tapes because my mom wanted to watch them.
Oh my
So,
goodness. All right, watches. Beckett's hair watch. I actually didn't really pay a lot of attention to her hair this episode.
yeah, so it's still the same as last. Really, there's no real
Yeah.
changes here. I think the angles on her layers are getting softer because I think it's
Mm.
growing. You know, because like it was kind of I don't know. Last episode were otter angles, I think, and then this is like more soft. Like, and maybe it's because they flipped it out last episode and it's in this. I don't know. I'd have to do a comparison.
So pop culture references. There's a Cinderella reference, and then Cosmo, which is an actual magazine, and then Neoshia wrote down Showgirls. So to explain to people, Showgirls is a movie about strippers, right?
Yeah, it's a 1995.
Wasn't it like an Oscar contender too? Is that why it got so
Yes.
much attention?
Yes. And I think I might be mistaking, but I think it is kind of like Elizabeth Berkley's first like real adult role because she played
Yeah,
Jessie in
yeah,
Saved by the Bell in the late 80s,
yeah,
early
yeah,
90s. And so I think it's like her first like big adult role. But yeah, 1995 film starring Elizabeth Berkley.
yeah. It kind of got a lot of attention because I can remember the public buzz about it, and this was like pre like mainstream internet, so it's like all this buzz that was talking about what's happening on like talk shows and magazines, and just different kinds of coverage back then. So, but yeah, it was
Well,
kind of a big deal.
I'm pretty sure too, because the reason like I knew that it existed was because like it is Elizabeth Berkley on the cover of the film, like the VHS box or I guess DVD box now, um, where like she's on the front and it's like a risque pose almost. I think yeah, I'm looking at one now and it's different. Um, or maybe it's not different. Maybe that's how it always has been. Actually, I'm getting this conflated with striptease is what's happening. Striptease
uh
was the one that had the really like provocative cover photo that had to be covered at Blockbuster. Like there was a black, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? How
yeah,
they would
yeah,
cover. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it wasn't technically like a NC-17 movie, but the cover it has like, because striptease is Demi Moore, right?
Think so. Yeah.
Anyway, that is like so irrelevant to what we're talking about, but like that's what I think I was conflating the two. But Showgirls, yeah, 1995 film starring Elizabeth Berkley.
No new additions to Martha Isms. Casket Corner, like I said earlier, the book conversation, and then I think the way that they team up with the interrogation to get Travis to confess. I like that they work together on that. Bestseller list. My favorite scene is the book scene at the end. It's just I really like that. It's so funny. Just the way that he realizes and he's just like, oh.
Yeah, mine is actually when Beckett threatens Espo and Ryan like not to tell Castle about her modeling. Because I mean it's a really good team moment, right? And also
Yeah.
it's another like we're peeling back the layers of the Beckett onion and learning like, oh, she once was modeling. And I think it's really important to keep in mind that I think Kate Beckett had a very traditional upbringing, and but for the tragic murder of her mother, probably wouldn't be a cop.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, because there's just so many things about her life, like the prep schools and things like that, that we have found out so far, that indicate she would be on a much different path if
She'd
not
probably be
for.
going to law school, right?
Right, right. And I mean, because we do know that she like liked crime novels and things like that. So I would say law school, or anything like that. And so I think that also helps us keep in perspective that she is a much better rounded character than we would typically see from a female police officer character. I don't
Hmm.
know if that makes much sense because I mean, like SVU at this point has been on for like 10 years. And even there, I think sometimes Sometimes you get it from Olivia Benson's character that, she is a well-rounded person. And all I mean by that, right, is being a woman who's in a male-dominated job that's like physical and all these things, and you're supposed to be tough and you can't do anything that's quote unquote girly. And you see Kate Beckett kind of bucks a lot of that. So
Favorite lines are like when Ryan says, "Looking good, Detective Beckett," just because he just brings home that little subtle storyline that they've just been so vaguely hinting at, and then
yeah. And I'm gonna go with mine is from the crime scene, and it's actually Castle saying, "I'm gonna go with Prince Charming at the ball. Should we look for a pumpkin and some mice?"
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back with a new Beckett's interrogation. And Neoshia has already sniffed out one of my questions. All right, we're back with a new Beckett's interrogation. The way this works is I'm going to ask 6 questions about the episode we just discussed, and you'll have 5 seconds to come up with the answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What designer made the shoes the victim left the party in?
Those are Christian Louboutin.
Yes, they are. Very good. I do want to note while we're doing this quiz is that we had the TV Police Q&A last week, Saturday, or on March 7th, and I sprung a quiz on them. I can't let people go without quizzing them, right?
You can't, yeah.
I gotta
You
bring
can't.
it.
I remember I was just like in the chat, like, I have 3 degrees, and the best I can do on one of her quizzes is 3 out of 6. Best of luck, everybody.
All right. Question 2. What kind of dress do we first see Sierra in?
A wedding dress.
Oh, very good.
A very eclectic looking wedding dress, but a wedding dress nonetheless.
All right, since we're talking about outfits, what kind of outfit is Beckett wearing in the modeling photo the guys find?
Oh. She's only 17. I want to say it's a school uniform, but I don't think that's right. I'm going to go school uniform.
It's a tennis outfit.
A tennis outfit. Okay.
Yeah, because she's like holding she's doing like a tennis kind of pose or something like that. Okay, question 4. What Chinese dish does Castle bring home for dinner? He brings home several containers, but he says that he brought blank home for dinner.
All right, I'm just going to go with Kung Pao chicken because I feel like that's what every American says all the time.
No, he says chow fun.
Oh, okay.
All right, question 5. What drug was Sierra dosing Jenna with?
Diet pill.
No, but there was a name for it.
You're never going to get me to know the name, but I know it was amphetamine. It started with an A.
Yeah, it did start with an A. It's called Admir.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a real drug, by the way.
I don't think that's a real drug either. All right, last question. So Rena talks about what happened when Sierra drugged another model. And she says that because of what she did, she called another designer old. What was that designer?
That was Calvin Klein.
Yeah, very good.
And she called him an old fart to his face.
Yeah, old fart. All right, that's it. Any final thoughts? I actually really like this episode, despite all the nitpicking we've been doing. It was fun. So
yeah, no, I did like this episode, and that is why I have so many nitpicks. In terms of just like I said, I think the only thing for me was that it kind of did fall apart a little at the murder reveal. And I mean, I think that's something to appreciate about Castle, is that does it always matter if the murder reveal is tight in this show? Because I don't think it does. I think this is one of those times in life where it's kind of like the journey is what matters.
Yeah, and the messages that they present And overall, you just get the feeling of tragedy. And that's the point, right? That the tragedy of this case is what leads Castle to care enough about Rena to wanna, be a friend to her. So yeah, I feel like that's the more important takeaway.
Right.
All right. If you're enjoying Rom-Com Detectives, we hope you'll consider taking a minute to leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. For our question of the week, leave us a comment on Spotify, YouTube, or Reddit, and tell us which is a better job as a teenage girl in New York, modeling or waitressing. If you'd like to join additional conversations about Castle, you can visit the Castle subreddit at reddit.com/r/CastleTV. To contact me and Neoshia, email us at hosts@romcomdetectives.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Threads, or Blue Sky at romcomdetectives, or leave us a voicemail or text message at 1-650-733-XOXO or 9696. This episode of Rom-Com Detectives was recorded on March 16, 2026. Rom-Com Detectives Cast Unit is co-hosted by Krista Watanabe and Neoshia Roemer and is produced by Picos House. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you guys next time for our breakdown of 204 Fool Me Once. Bye.
Bye, everybody.